Today, December 14th, someone is warning you about a person whose name begins with the letter. Don't scroll. Please, listen to this, because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now, and I mean that in a way that goes deeper than words, deeper than coincidence, deeper than the moment you think you're just passing time, because nothing about this is accidental and you didn't land here by chance. Today, December 13th, carries a heavy spiritual charge, and the reason your chest feels tight or your eyes suddenly want to water is because your soul recognizes what your mind hasn't fully accepted yet. So listen to this, stay with me, don't scroll, because someone is warning you, yes, warning you. About a person whose name begins with a specific letter, and the moment you heard that, someone came to mind, didn't they, even if you tried to push it away, even if you said, no, not them, because your intuition has been speaking quietly for weeks, maybe months, and you've been overriding it with logic, loyalty, hope, or fear of being alone. But listen to this, this message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. Because the universe has been tapping you gently and now it's speaking. Clearly, you've been seeing the signs, angel numbers like 1111 showing up when you're thinking about love, 333 when you're doubting yourself, 555 when things feel like they're falling apart, and you told yourself it was random, but deep down you knew it wasn't. You knew something was shifting inside you, a spiritual awakening you didn't ask for but were chosen for, and part of awakening is discernment, learning who is aligned with where you're going and who was only meant to walk with you for a season. And listen to this, don't scroll, because this part matters. The person whose name starts with that letter isn't necessarily evil, they're not a villain, but their energy is misaligned with your destiny, and every time you stay connected to them, your spirit feels tired, your peace feels delayed, your joy feels postponed, and you've been feeling emotionally confused, pulled between what feels familiar and what feels right, and that inner conflict has been weighing on your heart. So listen to this. This message is for you, your heart needs this right now. Because Spirit is saying you're not crazy, you didn't imagine the distance, the mixed signals, the subtle emotional drain, the way you feel smaller or louder than you really are when you're around them, and here's the hard truth wrapped in love. Some people are assigned to test your boundaries, not to cross the finish line with you, and today, December 13th, is a checkpoint moment. A divine pause where the universe is asking you, are you ready to choose peace over potential, clarity over chaos, alignment over attachment? And don't scroll, because if you've been praying quietly for a sign, this is it. If you've been asking God, the universe, your angels, show me the truth, this is that answer, and it's okay if it hurts a little, because growth always does. But listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because the warning isn't here to scare you, it's here to protect you, to redirect you, to save you from repeating a cycle that no longer fits the version of you that's emerging, and yes, emerging is the right word, because you are not who you were 6 months ago, you're not who you were last year, and the person you're becoming cannot carry the same emotional weight, cannot tolerate half-love, cannot survive on confusion anymore, and here's where the universe softens its voice. This clearing, this warning, this emotional revelation is making space for something sacred, something real, something soulmate level, and I know that word hits deep, because you've felt it before in flashes, in dreams, in moments where you suddenly felt hopeful for no reason. And those weren't fantasies, those were previews, because your soulmate isn't going to feel like anxiety, they won't leave you guessing, they won't make you beg for consistency, and listen to this, don't scroll, because The reason this warning is coming now is because you're closer than you think, closer to alignment, closer to love that feels like home, closer to a connection that meets you where you are spiritually, emotionally, and energetically, and the universe can't deliver what's meant for you while your hands are still holding on to what's misaligned, so your heart needs this right now, this gentle but firm reminder that letting go is not losing, it's trusting, and if you've been seeing signs like feathers, sudden waves of emotion, old songs resurfacing, or dreams where you're walking away or starting over, those are confirmations, and over the next few days, the letter will become clearer, through a message, a name, a realization that hits you out of nowhere. And when it does, don't ignore it, don't minimize it, because silence, distance, and boundaries may be the very protection you prayed for, and listen to this, this message is for you, because you are watched over, you are guided, you are not alone in this moment, even if it feels lonely, and today, December 13th, marks the beginning of a shift you'll look back on and say, that's when everything changed, and this is only part one, because what's coming next will explain why this had to happen. Now and who is stepping into your life once you finally listen. Don't scroll. Listen to this, because if you're still here, it means something inside you knows this message is meant for you, and your heart needs this right now in a way you may not even be able to explain, because there's a shift happening beneath the surface of your life, and it's been building quietly, moment by moment, sign by sign, feeling by feeling, and you've tried to stay strong, tried to stay logical, tried to tell yourself you're fine, but listen to this. The universe doesn't interrupt people who aren't ready, and you're being spoken to now because your spirit is awake, even if your emotions are still catching up, and lately you've been feeling more sensitive, more reflective, more aware of energy, more affected by words, tones, silences, and that's not weakness, that's awakening, and this message is for you, your heart needs this right now. Because something you've been holding onto emotionally is reaching its expiration point, and the universe is gently, but firmly, asking you to pay attention. You've been seeing the signs again, haven't you? Repeating numbers when you're alone with your thoughts, clocks lining up at 11:11, receipts showing 4:44, random moments where 7 hours 77 minutes or 2:22 flashes and your chest tightens, and you brush it off, but listen to this, those aren't accidents, those are nudges, confirmations that you are not imagining the pull you feel towards something more, something deeper, something real, and at the same time, you've been feeling drained by something, or someone that once felt familiar, comfortable, even exciting, and now it feels confusing, heavy, emotionally loud, and your soul has been craving peace more than passion, clarity more than chemistry, and that's because you're evolving, and listen to this, don't scroll, because this message is for you, your heart needs this right now. There is a separation happening energetically before it happens physically, and that's why you felt distant even when nothing bad has happened, why conversations feel forced, why your intuition speaks up at night when the world goes quiet, and you've been asking yourself, why do I feel like this when everything looks fine? And the answer is alignment, or rather, misalignment, and here's the truth wrapped in comfort. Not everything that feels intense is meant to last, and not everything that lasts is meant to go with you into your next chapter. The universe is clearing space, and clearing space is uncomfortable because it requires honesty, emotional courage, and trust, and you've been in a tug-of-war between what your heart wants and what your soul knows, and listen to this, your heart needs this right now. Your soul already knows the truth, Your mind is just afraid of the change that truth requires, but change is not punishment, it's preparation, and right now, you're being prepared for a connection that doesn't cost you your peace, for a love that doesn't confuse you, for a soulmate-level bond that meets you where you are instead of asking you to shrink or overextend. And yes, soulmate energy is real. And it's not always dramatic or chaotic, sometimes it's calm, grounding, safe, and that's why. It scares people who are used to emotional roller coasters, and listen to this, don't scroll, because if you've been feeling lonely even when you're not alone, it's because you're outgrowing the frequency you're surrounded by, and your spirit is calling in someone who can meet you at this higher level of awareness, someone who doesn't trigger your anxiety but soothes it, someone whose presence feels like exhale, not effort. And the reason it hasn't arrived yet is because timing matters, and alignment matters, and the universe will not send what you're not ready to receive, and readiness isn't about perfection, it's about honesty, boundaries, and self-respect, and this message is for you, your heart needs this right now. Over the next days and weeks, you're going to notice emotional clarity returning, moments of peace where there used to be confusion, sudden confidence to say no where you once stayed silent, and these are signs that the shift is working, that your angels, your guides, whatever you believe in, are walking with you through this transition, and if you've been having vivid dreams, emotional releases out of nowhere, or memories resurfacing, that's your subconscious clearing old attachments, and it's okay to grieve what could have been, while still choosing what will be, because you're allowed to outgrow people, situations, and versions of yourself, and listen to this, don't scroll, because this is important. The universe is watching how you respond right now, not to punish you, but to see what you choose when you finally see clearly, and choosing yourself doesn't make you selfish, it makes you aligned, and alignment is magnetic, it draws in the right people, the right love, the right opportunities, and that's why once you fully let go emotionally, things will start moving fast, conversations, meetings, synchronicities, moments that feel almost unreal, like, how did this happen so easily? And that's the sign you're on the right path, and this message is for you, your heart needs this right now. Trust what feels calm, trust what feels honest, trust what doesn't require you to abandon yourself, and remember this. You are deeply protected, divinely guided, and never forgotten, even in moments where it feels quiet, even when answers don't come immediately, because silence is sometimes the universe rearranging everything behind the scenes, and what's coming next will make sense of everything you're feeling now. So stay open, stay gentle with yourself, and stay present, because this isn't the end of a story, it's the beginning of a truer one. And if you felt this deeply, it's because it was meant to reach you exactly now. Don't scroll. Listen to this, because if you've made it this far, it's not by accident, and your heart needs this right now more than you realize, because something profound is unfolding in your life behind the scenes, something that feels both unsettling and sacred at the same time, and you've been feeling it in waves, haven't you? Moments where you feel unusually calm followed by moments where emotion rises out of nowhere, and you try to explain it away. But listen to this message is for you, and it's arriving now because you're standing at the edge of a breakthrough, the kind that changes how you love, how you trust, how you see yourself, and lately you've been questioning things you used to accept without thought, connections, promises, patterns, even your own reactions. And that's not confusion, that's clarity being born, and clarity is rarely loud at first, it whispers before it roars. You've been noticing how certain people, situations, or conversations leave you feeling drained, while others, even brief ones, leave you feeling lighter, hopeful, seen, and that contrast is teaching you discernment. And listen to this, don't scroll, because discernment is a spiritual upgrade, and not everyone who had access to the old version of you is meant to access who you're becoming, and that realization can feel lonely, but it's also powerful, because it means you're no longer abandoning yourself to keep others comfortable. Your heart needs this right now, because you've spent so long trying to understand others, to be patient, to give chances, to see the good, that you forgot to listen to your own emotional signals, and now those signals are getting stronger, harder to ignore, showing up as tightness in your chest, restlessness at night, sudden tears, or an unshakable feeling that something needs to change. And listen to this, those are not weaknesses, those are messages. And the universe speaks through feeling. Before it speaks through form, you've also been seeing signs layered into your everyday life. Numbers repeating at just the right moments, strangers saying things that feel oddly specific, songs playing that answer questions you didn't say out loud, and you might smile and brush it off, but deep down you know there's intelligence guiding these moments, and this message is for you, because your awareness has expanded enough to notice them now, and that's part of your awakening, an awakening that doesn't always feel blissful. Sometimes it feels like shedding skin, like standing alone for a moment while everything recalibrates. Listen to this, don't scroll, because the emotional release you've been feeling is purposeful. You are detoxing from old attachments, old expectations, old versions of love that were rooted in survival rather than alignment, and survival love is loud, urgent, confusing, while aligned love is steady, safe, and calm. And the reason calm has felt unfamiliar is because you weren't taught that peace could be exciting, but it can, and it will be, once you stop associating intensity with depth. Your heart needs this right now, because you are being prepared for a connection that reflects the work you've done internally, someone who doesn't test your worth but recognizes it, someone who doesn't trigger your wounds but respects them, and this kind of connection doesn't rush in with chaos, it arrives with synchronicity, timing, and ease, and you may already be sensing it approaching, a subtle anticipation. A feeling that something is aligning even though you can't see it yet, and listen to this, that feeling is real, and it's growing stronger because you are closer than you think. At the same time, you're being asked to release control, to stop forcing clarity from people who can't give it, to stop waiting for closure that only you can provide, and this message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. Closure doesn't always come as a conversation, sometimes it comes as acceptance, sometimes it comes as silence, and sometimes it comes as choosing not to reopen a door just because you miss what was familiar, and that choice takes courage, and you have more of it than you realize. Listen to this, don't scroll, because the universe is watching how you honor yourself in this moment, not to judge you, but to match your energy, and when you choose self-respect over emotional breadcrumbs, you send a signal that you're ready for more, and more responds quickly to aligned energy, which is why once you fully commit to this inner shift, you'll notice external movement. Unexpected messages, new opportunities, conversations that feel easy, connections that feel natural, and you won't have to chase them, they'll meet you where you are. Your heart needs this right now, because you've been carrying the weight of uncertainty for too long, and relief is coming, but relief requires trust, and trust requires letting go of the need to understand everything immediately, and that's hard, especially for someone who feels deeply. But listen to this, your depth is not a burden, it's a gift, and the right people will cherish it, not exploit it. You are not falling behind, you are aligning, and alignment often feels like pause before acceleration, like quiet before movement, and if things feel slow or unclear right now, it's because the universe is arranging something that matches your growth, not your past, and this message is for you, because you are protected even when it doesn't feel like it, guided even when answers are delayed, and supported even when you feel alone. And the emotional strength you're building now will become the foundation for everything that comes next. Listen to this, don't scroll, because the next chapter of your life is not about proving, chasing, or settling, it's about receiving, recognizing, and choosing what feels aligned, and when you look back at this period, you'll realize it was the moment you stopped betraying your intuition and started trusting it, and that decision will echo through every relationship, every opportunity, every version of love you experience from here on out. So breathe, stay present, stay open, and remember that what is meant for you is not confused by your boundaries, not scared of your growth, and not delayed by divine timing. It's being guided toward you just as intentionally as you're being guided toward it, and that's why this message found you exactly now. Don't scroll. Stay with me, because if you're here right now, it's not by chance, and your heart needs this right now in a way that goes deeper than logic, deeper than explanation, deeper than timing, because something sacred is unfolding in your life and you've been feeling it even if you haven't had the words for it, a subtle pull, a quiet knowing, moments where you pause and feel like something invisible is rearranging your path. And listen to this. This message is for you, because lately you've been standing between who you were and who you're becoming, and that in-between space can feel uncomfortable, emotional, even lonely, but it's also where the most powerful transformations happen. You've been reflecting more, noticing patterns you used to ignore, questioning connections you once defended, and that's not you becoming cold or distant, that's you becoming conscious, and consciousness changes everything, especially the way you love, the way you allow access to your energy, and the way you choose peace over familiarity. And don't scroll, because this part matters. There is a quiet strength rising inside you, and it's changing the way the universe responds to you, even if you haven't fully seen the results yet. Your heart needs this right now, because you've been doing emotional work in silence, healing wounds you didn't cause, releasing expectations you carried for too long, forgiving yourself for staying when you should have left and leaving when you wanted to stay, and that inner work is not invisible, even if no one applauded it, because the universe responds to inner alignment before outer action, and that's why things have felt paused, slowed down, or strangely quiet lately. Not because nothing is happening, but because everything is recalibrating. Listen to this. This message is for you, because you've been receiving subtle confirmations. Numbers repeating when you're deep in thought, moments of emotional clarity that arrive out of nowhere, a sudden sense of peace after long periods of confusion, and these are not coincidences, they are signals that you're on the right path even if the destination isn't clear yet, and clarity doesn't always arrive as answers. Sometimes it arrives as calm, sometimes as detachment, sometimes as the realization that you no longer want what once consumed you, and that's growth. Don't scroll, because this part is important. You are learning to trust yourself again, and that might be the most powerful shift of all, because there was a time when you doubted your intuition, questioned your feelings, stayed quiet to keep the peace, or gave the benefit of the doubt even when your spirit was uneasy. But now something is different. Now you pause, you listen, you feel, and you no longer rush to explain away what your body and heart are telling you. And that's a sign of awakening, the kind that changes the trajectory of your relationships and your future. Your heart needs this right now, because you are stepping into a phase of discernment where you no longer chase connection, you recognize it, and recognition feels calm, grounded, mutual, not anxious or one-sided, and the universe is teaching you that love doesn't have to be loud to be real, it doesn't have to hurt to be deep, and it doesn't have to confuse you to be meaningful, and that lesson alone is preparing you for something different, something healthier, something aligned. Listen to this, don't scroll, because there is someone moving closer to your life energetically, and this isn't fantasy or wishful thinking, it's resonance, the natural pull that happens when two people are on similar frequencies, and you may not know who they are yet, but you've felt the space being made for them, felt old emotional ties loosening, felt your standards rising without effort, felt your tolerance for inconsistency disappearing, and that's not you becoming demanding, that's you becoming aligned, and alignment is magnetic. Your heart needs this right now, because you've been afraid that choosing yourself would cost you connection, but what you're learning is that choosing yourself filters out what was never meant to stay and invites what finally sees you clearly, and that process can feel like loss before it feels like gain, but nothing truly meant for you will be taken away by you honoring your truth, and listen to this. This message is for you. Peace is becoming your new baseline, not excitement rooted in uncertainty, not intensity rooted in fear, but peace rooted in mutual respect, emotional safety, and spiritual recognition. Don't scroll, because the universe is responding to the way you've been showing up lately, the boundaries you've set quietly, the self-respect you've chosen in moments no one saw, the patience you've practiced even when answers were delayed, and those choices are sending a clear signal that you are ready for the next level, not just in love, but in life, and the next level often arrives subtly at first, through shifts in perspective, through unexpected conversations, through opportunities that feel natural rather than forced. Your heart needs this right now, because you've been wondering if all this inner work is worth it, if the loneliness, the waiting, the uncertainty will pay off, and the answer is yes, but not in the way your past imagined, because what's coming won't require you to prove your worth, overextend your energy, or silence your needs. It will meet you where you are, and you'll recognize it not by butterflies, but by calm, by clarity, by the feeling of being understood without explanation. Listen to this, don't scroll, because timing is aligning even if it feels slow, and slow does not mean stagnant, slow means intentional, and intentional things last, and you are being protected from rushing into something that looks right but isn't ready, because readiness isn't just about desire, it's about alignment, and alignment requires patience, honesty, and trust, all of which you are learning right now. Your heart needs this right now, because you are not behind, you are not late, and you are not missing out, you are exactly where you need to be for what's meant to find you, and when it does, it will make sense of the waiting, the releasing, the growth, and even the heartbreaks, because they shaped the version of you that can now receive without fear. Listen to this. This message is for you. Stay open, stay grounded, stay true to what feels right in your body and spirit, because the universe is not testing you, it's responding to you, and what you've been calling uncertainty is actually transformation, and transformation always feels unfamiliar before it feels fulfilling, and when you look back on this moment, you'll realize it was the point where everything quietly shifted in your favor, even before you could see how. Don't scroll. Listen to this, because if you're still here, it means something inside you is paying attention, and your heart needs this right now more than you've been willing to admit, because you're standing in a moment that feels quiet on the outside but thunderous on the inside, a moment where your soul is stretching beyond old limits and your emotions are trying to catch up. And listen to this. This message is for you, not because you're broken, not because you're lacking, but because you're becoming aware, and awareness changes everything. Lately you've been feeling different in ways that are hard to explain, like you're more selective with your energy, less tolerant of confusion, less willing to overextend yourself for people who don't meet you halfway, and that shift might have made you question yourself, wondering if you're becoming distant or guarded. But listen to this, don't scroll, because you're not closing your heart, you're protecting it, and protection is not fear. It's wisdom born from experience. Your heart needs this right now because you've spent a long time being strong for others, understanding others, waiting for others to grow, and in the process you learned how to survive emotionally, but now you're being called to do more than survive, you're being called to receive, and receiving requires a different posture, one that trusts rather than braces, one that allows rather than chases. And that's uncomfortable when you're used to holding everything together yourself. Listen to this, this message is for you. There is a deep recalibration happening in your emotional body, and that's why things that once excited you now feel draining, and things that once scared you now feel necessary, and you might feel torn between nostalgia and clarity, between what you know and what you feel. But that tension is temporary. It's the friction that creates momentum. And momentum is building even if it's not visible yet. Don't scroll, because this part matters. You've been seeing signs that seem small but feel significant, numbers repeating when you're thinking about your future, moments of stillness that arrive after emotional storms, sudden insights that make old patterns click into place. And those are confirmations that you're integrating lessons you once had to learn the hard way, and integration is powerful because it means you're no longer repeating, you're choosing differently. Your heart needs this right now, because you've been asking yourself whether all this inner work will actually lead somewhere, whether the loneliness of growth is worth it, whether choosing peace over familiarity will leave you isolated. And the universe wants you to hear this clearly. You are not being isolated, you are being aligned, and alignment sometimes feels like separation before it feels like connection. Because what doesn't match your frequency naturally falls away. Listen to this, don't scroll, because there is a reason you felt a pull towards solitude lately, a need to sit with your thoughts, to disconnect from noise, to reflect on what you truly want, and that reason is clarity, because clarity can't be heard over constant distraction, and the more you listen inward, the clearer your path becomes, even if it doesn't reveal itself all at once. This message is for you, your heart needs this right now. There is love ahead that doesn't ask you to explain yourself, love that doesn't trigger your old wounds, love that doesn't arrive with conditions or confusion, but before it arrives, you're being asked to fully release the idea that love has to hurt to be meaningful, that you have to struggle to be chosen, that inconsistency is just part of passion, and those beliefs are being gently dismantled one by one. Don't scroll, because you're learning that peace can be exciting, that stability can be magnetic, that being seen doesn't require proving, and that realization is changing the way you show up energetically, making you more grounded, more present, more authentic, and authenticity attracts authenticity, even if it takes time. Your heart needs this right now, because you've been feeling the urge to stop explaining yourself, to stop justifying your boundaries, to stop chasing clarity from people who can't give it, and that urge is your intuition reclaiming its authority, reminding you that you don't need permission to honor what feels right. And listen to this, don't scroll, because honoring what feels right is how you signal readiness to the universe. You may notice that conversations are changing, that certain people feel more distant, that some connections fade without drama, and that can feel bittersweet, but it's also freeing, because what's leaving is making room for what can stay, and staying energy feels different, it feels consistent, reciprocal, and calm, and you'll recognize it immediately because it won't make you question yourself. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. There is no rush, no deadline you're missing, no race you're behind in, because your timeline is aligning with your growth, not someone else's expectations, and what's meant for you will meet you at the pace that allows it to last. Don't scroll, because the universe is responding to the way you've been choosing yourself lately, even in small ways, the way you pause before reacting, the way you listen to your body, the way you step back instead of forcing outcomes, and those small choices are rewriting your story from the inside out. Your heart needs this right now, because doubt may still visit, fear may still whisper, old habits may still tug at you, but they no longer control you, and control is shifting back into your hands, where it belongs, and with that control comes responsibility, to yourself, to your peace, to the future you're building. Listen to this, don't scroll, because what's ahead will feel different from what you've known, not because it's perfect, but because it's aligned, and alignment feels like relief, like exhale, like finally not having to brace for impact, and when that moment arrives, you'll understand why everything had to unfold the way it did. This message is for you, because you are supported even when the path feels unclear, guided even when answers are delayed, and protected even when you're releasing what once felt safe, and that protection isn't loud or dramatic, it's steady, consistent, and intentional, just like the life you're building now. Don't scroll, stay present, because this phase is shaping you into someone who can recognize real love, receive real peace, and trust real alignment without fear, and that is no small thing, that is a transformation, and you are in the middle of it, exactly where you're meant to be. Don't scroll. Stay right here, because if you've followed this far, it means your spirit has been listening even when your mind felt tired, and your heart needs this right now in a deep, grounding way, because this moment is a closing and an opening at the same time, and endings that matter always feel emotional before they feel peaceful. Listen to this, this message is for you, because everything you've been experiencing lately, the emotional waves, the quiet realizations, the sudden strength, the unexpected calm, is not random, it's integration, it's the moment where lessons stop repeating and start settling, and you're stepping into a version of yourself that no longer begs for clarity, no longer chases validation, no longer confuses intensity with love, and that shift is powerful even if it feels subtle. You've been learning how to sit with yourself without distraction, how to listen to your intuition without immediately doubting it, how to feel emotions without letting them control your decisions, and listen to this, don't scroll, because that emotional maturity is what changes everything moving forward, especially the way you experience love, connection, and purpose. Your heart needs this right now, because there was a time when you felt like you were always waiting. Waiting for people to choose you, waiting for situations to make sense, waiting for the universe to catch up to your effort, and that waiting taught you patience, but it also taught you self-abandonment, and now you're unlearning that, now you're choosing presence over anticipation, self-trust over reassurance, alignment over attachment, and that choice is rewriting your future in ways you can't fully see yet. Listen to this. This message is for you. What's coming next won't arrive with chaos or confusion. It won't demand that you prove yourself. It won't test your worth. It will meet you where you are and recognize you instantly, and recognition feels different than pursuit. It feels calm, mutual, grounding, like finally exhaling after holding your breath for too long. Don't scroll, because the universe wants you to hear this clearly. You are not hard to love, you were just learning what love is not, and those lessons were necessary even if they hurt, because they refined your discernment, strengthened your boundaries, and taught you how to honor your needs without guilt. Your heart needs this right now, because you may still feel traces of doubt, moments where the old fears resurface, whispers that ask, what if I'm wrong? What if I miss out? What if this is as good as it gets? But those whispers are echoes, not truths, remnants of a version of you that survived by settling, and you no longer live there. Listen to this, don't scroll, because the universe responds differently to someone who knows their worth quietly than to someone who demands it loudly, and your energy has shifted into that quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't need constant reassurance, the kind that attracts without effort, the kind that feels safe to the right people and uncomfortable to the wrong ones, and that's how you know it's real. Your heart needs this right now, because the next phase of your life isn't about fixing, proving, or healing in isolation. It's about experiencing, receiving, and building from a place of wholeness, and wholeness doesn't mean you're perfect, it means you're honest with yourself, compassionate with your past, and open to what aligns with your present. Listen to this, this message is for you. Pay attention to how your body feels around people, how your nervous system responds, how your breath changes, because peace is your new compass, and anything that consistently disrupts it is information, not something to override or excuse. Don't scroll, because there will be moments ahead where you're tempted to return to what's familiar, to reopen doors that closed quietly, to entertain conversations that feel nostalgic but heavy, and in those moments, remember how far you've come, remember the calm you've cultivated, remember that you no longer need chaos to feel alive. Your heart needs this right now, because choosing peace can feel boring to a world addicted to drama, but peace is where clarity grows, where love deepens, where purpose stabilizes, and the life you're building now requires that stability. Listen to this, don't scroll, because the universe is not testing you anymore, it's responding to you, matching your energy, reflecting your self-respect, and that means what enters your life next will reflect the standards you've set internally, not the compromises you made before. You may notice that things start to align quietly. Conversations flow easier, opportunities feel natural, connections feel mutual, and you won't have to force any of it, because force was never alignment, it was fear trying to control outcomes. Your heart needs this right now, because you've been carrying hope carefully, afraid to fully trust it, afraid to believe that things could actually work out without struggle, but hope doesn't require proof, it requires openness, and you are more open now than you've ever been, not because you're naive, but because you're grounded. Listen to this, this message is for you. When the right connection enters your life, romantic or otherwise, it will feel familiar in a safe way, not because it mirrors your past, but because it mirrors your growth, and you'll recognize it by the absence of anxiety, the presence of respect, the ease of communication, and the feeling of being seen without performance. Don't scroll, because timing matters, and divine timing doesn't rush, it aligns, and everything you've been through has been aligning you with something that can last, something that won't require you to abandon yourself to keep it. Your heart needs this right now, because the waiting wasn't punishment, it was preparation, the silence wasn't absence, it was protection, and the confusion wasn't failure, it was redirection. Listen to this, don't scroll, because as this chapter settles, you'll start to feel lighter, more present, more anchored in yourself, and that's when life begins to respond differently, when doors open without struggle, when love feels supportive instead of consuming, when purpose feels integrated instead of distant. This message is for you, because you are not alone in this transition. Even when it feels solitary, you are guided, supported, and protected in ways that don't always announce themselves, and trust grows not from certainty, but from consistency, from choosing yourself again and again even when it's uncomfortable. Don't scroll, stay with this feeling, because this is the calm after growth, the grounding after expansion, the moment where you realize you no longer need to chase what's meant for you, because what's meant for you recognizes you too, and as you move forward, remember this. Your intuition is no longer something you second guess, your peace is no longer something you negotiate, and your future is no longer something you fear, because you've done the work, you've honored the lessons, and now you're ready to receive what aligns, and that alignment is already unfolding, quietly, intentionally, and exactly on time.